Hello. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as to 10 minutes as possible because I'm so used to speaking so long, but I just found out that you're from my mom's town. Binmale, Pangasinan is where she's from. So, but every speaker that has come up tonight up until me, I am just so in awe of. And when Rochelle and Jennifer had lunch with me and they told me what they were doing, how could I not be a part of this? I'm even more excited to be here because I'm so indebted to my ancestors for paving the way for Filipinos to be able to be here in the United States, for the struggle, for everything that they had to do to learn our language, learn the English language where we don't even get to learn their language fluently. So I'm so glad that you guys are offering that at UNLV. I'm a graduate of University of Washington, so I know they had Tagalog there. That they didn't even have it here in UNLV. I was very surprised. So rooted and rising, we all come from our ancestors, and to be able to know that we, Jennifer and Rochelle and all the guys who started this, want to come together to create a movement that shows our youth and our town here in Las Vegas that we are a force to reckon with, that we also have a voice, that we also have many talents. I didn't have the opportunity to have someone when I was opening this business to turn to say, how do I run a business? My background is in science. So when I took this leap of faith to actually open the first Massage Envy in the state of Nevada, I had no clue how to run it. All I know is that I had the perseverance, and the drive for me was my children. At the time when I opened Massage Envy, I was 28 years old when I signed contract. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I left a corporate job in the pharmaceutical industry, which I had been working for almost 7 years. And at that time, I had 3 kids in tow. I had an 8-year-old boy, a 3-year-old boy, and a 1.5-year-old daughter. And my husband at the time was doing real estate. So as you know, how it works in the real estate game is whenever you get a paycheck. It's not consistent. So I left my really great paying job, corporate car, 100% benefits, and left that to take on a business I knew nothing about. All I know is that my husband and I absolutely loved massages. We would go to Dahan Institute and get the 2-for-1 special. That's what we could afford back then. And, that was something that, we live in an environment here in the United States where we live in high stress. I just so happened to pick an industry, which is the health and wellness industry, that helps our communities feel better, to feel their best. How lucky am I that I have the opportunity to be able to do something like that? In this day and age, we also hear about mental health issues being on the rise. Stress and anxiety. 40% of the American adults here in the United States suffer from stress and anxiety. And I get to have a business that helps people deal with the struggles of lost ones, financial woes, and really just, athletic recovery, everything that happens in our life to make this body work. I'm so excited that I not only am able to offer a business that helps with the health and wellness of our individuals that come into our local Massage Envies, but not only that, I just recently learned that I can use my business for other avenues as well. When I had one business, no one really heard my voice. Now that I grew from 1 to 7, you better believe I have a seat at the table. But I don't always want to be at the top of that table. I want all of my general managers who are there, because they are my leaders, to teach them a way of running businesses so that one day they too can either run my business when I retire or they open their own business. And so I had Bernard come to speak to our group about financial literacy. We really try our best to teach I've got close to 200 team members that work underneath us. And it's important to be able to give back in a way that I'm a servant-based leader, and I didn't really know what that meant when I was running the business. All I knew is that watching my parents send bulk buy-in boxes back home, watching my parents say, steak is spam, so you should be glad that you have food on the table, because that's the kind of things that we grew up with is that type of meal. And also knowing that our spiritual side, my father never let me miss a day of church unless it was snowing, and there were several days in Seattle where it did snow. So my faith has been very, very strong, and I can tell you that my mother, knowing in Filipino culture, did want me to be a nurse or a doctor, and of course I turned that down as well. But true story. When the pandemic hit, as you well know, a lot of our nurses were serving, our population, and they basically gave of themselves. And I remember as we had to close our business down because we were considered non-essential. And at that time, when we closed our business, I made sure that each one of our locations were open. And we kept one or two people there, and we were calling our community, asking them, how can we help? Is there anything that you need? And I also went into work, and I said, on those calls, I remember a particular call where there was a nurse on the other line. She says, I want to commend you. I said, for what? She says, for making these calls to reach out to the community. It's business owners like you that care for the community that is the reason why Vegas is so strong. She says, we're doing the same thing that you're doing. As a nurse, we're calling all the elderly patients to make sure they have food on the table because they can't leave their homes, and also so that they have their medication. That moment led me to a light bulb moment. I said, you know what? When we get back, when we're able to open our doors at Massage Envy, we're going to give back to those nurses. And we did. When we opened our doors, I told our business owners we need to do something for the nurses. Let's see if any of our members want to give back by any of their unused prepaids to give back to the Nurses Association. So I partnered with the Filipino Nurses Association, and do you know, in 1 month's time, we were able to raise over 1,200 services to donate to our healthcare heroes, which amounted to over $140,000 of services donated. So my mom wanted me to be a nurse, I told you, right? Well, even after donating the $140,000 of services, I saw a segment on Good Morning America that had the aftermath of the pandemic. And they were showing, increases of suicide rates with the doctors and nurses. So I said, you know what, I may not be able to give more from our business on services, but we can do something else. So then we created Nominate Your Favorite Healthcare Hero. And with that, we were able to give a package, and we collaborated, because it's not about competition, it's about collaboration. We collaborated with Las Vegas Hilton. They gave 3 days and 2 nights stay. We collaborated with small restaurants because we knew restaurants were being affected. They gave $100 gift cards. Season 12 Hell's Kitchen winner also gave a $100 gift card. And then, of course, Orange Theory and the Massage Envy. So that was a $1,400 package. We gave one to each of the 14 hospitals. And while there, we actually went to Reflection Bay, and each of the people who won were able to bring their significant other, and we had dignitaries there as well. We had all the business owners who basically collaborated with me to be there, and we showed how we came back strong in Las Vegas. We showed the community involvement, we showed the dignitaries being there, and we also showed our love for the nurses for giving of themselves during a time when we needed them most. So my mom and father were there, and so I was able to thank them. My father for the spiritual side, letting me know that I, as the oldest of 3 girls, was able to show him that through God's work and through God's faith that I was able to walk in the light of God. Second of all, to my mom who wanted me to be a nurse, I may not have been a nurse, but I was able to serve in a different capacity. And so to all of you youth, I use my voice, and to all of you business leaders who are here today, it's so important to show up and represent, who we are. You guys, in all of your jobs and what you've been able to do here in your community, all of you said it wasn't hard, but nobody gives us a silver spoon. And that's what makes us so resilient, is knowing that without that silver spoon, we're still strong. Because God is within us, and we have a power within us and a light within us that can shine far more and reach so much more people when we stand together. And so I welcome you guys. I do speak at a lot of the high schools. I've been keynote at UNLV, Lee's Business School. I love speaking to our youth because a lot of them think that it's hard. And yes, it is. We're not going to lie. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you here. But, when you stand up here, you can be a voice to give them hope, to get them to that next level. So anytime you get the opportunity to speak and to share your experience and your story, I bid you to do that, because I know that we can affect a lot more of our youth and just aspiring entrepreneurs who never thought they could do it. And I'm a testament to it. So thank you so much for everyone who supports our business. Woo.